It was late, past midnight, and I was walking home from a friend's apartment. The streets were empty, the city silent, except for the occasional car passing by. I didn't live too far, maybe a 20-minute walk, but that night, the distance felt endless. As I walked, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I glanced over my shoulder but saw nothing, just shadows cast by the dim streetlights stretching across the empty sidewalk. I kept walking, quickening my pace, hoping to get home faster. That's when I saw him, about half a block ahead, standing perfectly still under a flickering streetlight. A man facing away from me, wearing a dark suit. He was tall, almost unnaturally so, and his posture was strange. At first I thought he was waiting for someone, or maybe he was lost. But as I got closer, I noticed something that made my skin crawl. He was smiling. Not just any smile, but a wide, unnerving grin that seemed to stretch impossibly across his face. He wasn't looking at me, but I could feel his eyes on me, piercing through the darkness. I stopped, my heart racing, unsure of what to do. For a moment, I thought about turning around and going back the way I came. But something compelled me to keep walking, to see if this man would move or speak. I took a step forward, then another, keeping my eyes on him. As I got closer, I could see him more clearly. His eyes were wide open, unblinking, fixed on the empty street ahead. His mouth, twisted into that haunting smile, never moved. When I was about 10 feet away, he finally moved. Slowly, mechanically, he turned his head to face me. His smile widened, if that was even possible, and his eyes, they were empty, hollow, like two black holes. My breath caught in my throat as he began to take a step towards me, still smiling, his eyes locked onto mine. I stumbled backward, nearly falling, and quickly turned to run. As I sprinted down the street, I could hear his footsteps behind me, slow, dragging, yet somehow keeping up with me. I didn't dare look back. All I could think about was getting away, putting as much distance as possible between me and that thing. I rounded a corner and ducked into an alley, hiding behind a dumpster, trying to catch my breath. My heart was pounding so loud I was sure he could hear it. I peeked around the corner, praying that he hadn't followed me. The street was empty, just the flickering streetlights and the sound of my own breathing. For a moment I thought I was safe. Maybe I'd imagined it all. Maybe it was just a trick of the light. But then, from the shadows of the alley, I heard it, a soft, slow, dragging sound coming closer. I turned my head, and there he was, standing at the end of the alley, his smile wider than ever, his eyes locked onto mine. I bolted again, running faster than I ever had in my life. I didn't stop, didn't look back, not until I reached my apartment. I fumbled with the keys, my hands trembling, desperately trying to unlock the door. As soon as I got inside, I slammed the door shut and locked it, my back against the wood, trying to catch my breath. I peeked through the peephole, but he was gone. The street outside was empty, silent. I tried to calm down, telling myself it was over, that I was safe. But then, there was a knock at my door. A slow, deliberate knock, as if someone was tapping with just one finger. I didn't want to look, didn't want to see if it was him. But something made me do it. I looked through the peephole again, and there he was, right outside my door. His face was impossibly close, his eyes staring directly into mine, and that smile, that awful, twisted smile. I backed away from the door, trying to think, trying to breathe. I grabbed my phone, ready to call the police, but when I looked back through the peephole, he was gone, just like that. I didn't sleep at all that night, too afraid that he might come back. For weeks, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every shadow, every flicker of movement out of the corner of my eye made my heart race. I never saw him again, but sometimes, late at night, when the world is quiet, I still hear those footsteps, the slow, dragging steps of the smiling man. If you ever see him, don't look back. Just run. Run and never look back.